Good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining us. My name is Sam Cameron. I'm the manager of the CSU Advancement Academy, which is a very close partner of the CSU Events Professionals Network. On Call is a series of interactive meetings offered by the CSU EPN to provide a space for events professionals working in higher education to explore trending topics with colleagues. Our trending topic for this quarter is going to be managing stress in changing times. Even though professionals in all industries have been experiencing this kind of phenomenon, stress is already a common hallmark of the events industry in particular, because on a daily basis, events professionals have to balance competing needs and priorities and work often under tight deadlines to execute events where everything has to go right. Further, in recent months, events professionals have had to repeat this process several times to plan events under shifting health and safety protocols. To help support your success through these phenomena, and today's session will cover some of these strategies to help you cope with stress and help you keep your focus as you deal with these various situations. This will be an interactive session with optional breathing and movement exercises, so please be prepared to move a little. And today's session is being recorded and will be posted on the CSU EPN's YouTube channel with the link sent to our listserv once it's ready. I suggest that you keep that forthcoming link handy so you can revisit the exercises covered today. I'd also like to take a moment to thank and recognize the planning committee for the on-call series this year. They're listed here in alphabetical order. We have our colleague Carmela Arstil from the Long Beach campus, Monica Dahl from Stanislaus State, Kimberly Epperson from UC San Diego, Christine Lugo from San Jose State, and Adrian McCraw from UC San Diego as well. And now it's my pleasure to introduce our presenter for today. Tiffany Healy is the FitLife Coordinator for UC San Diego Recreation, where she has been managing fitness and wellness programs for the university since 2015. Tiffany's passion for preventative wellness and the human body was inspired by her family's business in senior healthcare. As she spent much of her childhood around seniors, she developed a curiosity and drive to help others learn how to support their own lifelong journey with well-being. This curiosity led her to pursue a degree in kinesiology from San Diego State University. That's right, she's made in the CSU. And she also has pursued various fitness and wellness certifications. Today, Tiffany has been working in the health and wellness industry for more than 15 years. She aims to strip the quote unquote no pain, no gain mindset from the fitness industry and firmly believes that all humans have a right to live a long, joyful, and pain-free life. After Tiffany's presentation, there will be a Q&A session with her, and you're also welcome to drop in your questions in the chat during her presentation. My colleague and I will monitor the chat and we'll bring any questions to Tiffany's attention or hold them for the Q&A session. With that, Tiffany, I'll go ahead and pause my screen share and turn it over to you.
Thanks so much, Sam. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us today for a conversation about how to manage stress in changing times. I like to call this catching our breath, right? Catch your breath. And before we get started, I am curious because I understand that event planning is one of the most stressful occupations that there is. You have to be communication masters, you have to meet physical demands and deadlines, and at times you work really long hours. So how are you currently supporting yourself when work feels stressful? If you can drop that in the chat, it's going to give me a good idea of where you're at currently. I see we've got some sense of humor in this group. Love it. Great. All right, thank you. I see some good coping strategies here, so thank you so much for sharing that. So there is something that I think is important for us to, excuse me, what is going on with my screen? Something important for us to keep in mind when it comes to how we're feeling in times that are really stressful. And that is that we need to know that our autonomic nervous system is ultimately going to be what decides how we feel or the outcome. And this really happens in 3 steps. First, we have our input or our stimuli. This can be anything from working out or the amount of time you spend staring at a screen, etc. And then next we have our processing stage, where the autonomic nervous system takes hold. And then we have our output or outcome. This is ultimately how you are feeling, whether it's energized or burnt out. That is what comes out on the other side. Now, when the outcome of the stimulus is desired or beneficial, this is called eustress. This is what we really hope to feel. That's positive acute stress. But on the other side, when the outcome of the stimulus is not desired or beneficial, this is called distress. You may have heard of being in distress before. This is a negative acute stress. Now, this is important to keep in mind because an accumulation of stress over time can cause pain, injury, or it can even lead to burnout, which is something that we're really hoping to avoid, especially for those of you who work in this industry. Now, when it comes to talking about the autonomic nervous system and the role that it plays in preventing things like burnout or managing stress, I think it's important to understand the branches of the nervous system. First, we have one side, our sympathetic nervous system. This is our fight, flight, or fright system. This can be really stimulated more so by things like beverages with stimulants, like coffee, unfortunately, poor nutrition practices, respiratory incompetence, or poor movement quality or lack of movement, or even we're overworking without breaks. Breaks are really important when we're working. Then on the other side, we have our parasympathetic nervous system. This is our rest and digest system. It's really helping us to clean up and repair damage in our system. This is more so activated by things like visual accuracy or spatial awareness, familiarity or success, things like mindfulness, high quality movement, and then respiratory exhalation. So firstly, I want to talk about respiration. This is something that we can make some shifts in to really make a big impact on how we're feeling, but most people don't really think about it. So by using our breath, we have the potential to send relaxed input to the brain or run for your life input to the brain. Firstly, let's talk about inhale. This is where we're focusing more so on the inhale of our breath. When we are in distress, this is how we typically breathe. I'm getting stressed with doing that right now, hyperventilating, right? Where we're focusing more so on that inhale than the exhale, and it makes us feel like this. This type of breathing, called thoracic or chest breathing, causes an upset in the oxygen and carbon dioxide levels in the body, which results in increased heart rate, dizziness, muscle tension, and other physical sensations. In other words, this unconscious shallow breathing can ultimately stimulate the sympathetic nervous system, which again, accumulation of that distress can cause burnout. On the other end of respiration, we have the exhale. And when we're feeling stressed, the exhale is something that we can really tap into to help us to stimulate that parasympathetic nervous system, to bring the heart rate back down, to decrease the blood pressure. And one really fantastic exercise, and I'm going to teach you how to do it in just a moment, is called 4-7-8 breathing. 4-7-8 breathing, also known as the relaxing breath, acts as a natural tranquilizer for the nervous system. In moments of distress, this is a great tool to bring you back to your center. And at first, this is really best to perform seated with your back straight, but when you become more familiar with this exercise, you can also perform it lying down in bed. So if you're one of those folks who struggle with falling asleep at night, because you have a lot of things going on in your mind, which I would assume is probably the case for some of you in event planning, you may find this breathing exercise especially supportive as you settle into night rest. So to do this, you breathe in for a count of 4 through your nose, but keep your mouth sealed. And then you hold at the top of the breath for a count of 8. And then you exhale for a count of 7, and then you exhale for a count of 8. So let's quickly do that together. I'm gonna wait until it gets to the breathe in part, so just give me a moment here. And you can follow along with this on your own. Breathing in for 1, 2, 3, 4. Holding for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Exhaling for 8. Let's do it again. And for 1, 2, 3, 4. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Exhale. Great. We'll practice that again together when we get to the end of our presentation here. We're going to do a little exercise together. Another way that we can immediately impact how we're feeling, something that we can do to really help us feel good on a daily basis, is introduce high quality movement throughout your day, not just during exercise periods of time, which are also important, but also when you're sitting at a desk, you want to get up, move around a little bit, and really feed the brain information. It's a really powerful way to prevent an accumulation of stress or burnout, but the quality of your movement really matters. And this is why. There are a couple different types of receptors that really play in movement when it comes to the nervous system. One is our mechanoreceptors. This is really all about things like the rate of movement or tension or change of tension, etc. But then we have our nociceptors, and this is where these provide threat signals to the brain, and it can result in things like pain, exhaustion, irritability. So quality of movement is important because when we are moving and we have maybe like a subtle injury or maybe our range of motion isn't fantastic, and if we're pushing into that movement to the point where it's feeling painful, it can actually make you feel worse. So it's really important that when you're moving throughout the day that you're introducing things to the body that feel good. And I'm going to teach you how to do that in a moment as well. But there's a few very important rules for you to follow when it comes to movement when you're doing this on your own. Firstly, our joints thrive with movement, both in frequency and variability. So again, you want to make sure that you are moving frequently throughout the day, but you also want a variety of different types of movement. So in other words, you don't want to just do some wrist exercises or finger exercises. You also want to get up and you want to move around and you want to get a little bit of rotation in your body, things like that. Again, I'm going to show you how in a bit. Second, I already mentioned this, never move into pain. You want to make sure you have good posture. This means chest is high, but ribs are pulled down. Shoulders are back and down, almost like you're putting your scapula in your back pocket. Create a nice space in your neck and shoulders, right? So that's kind of along the lines of what I mean. And every single exercise is going to be slightly different when it comes to your posture. Next, you want to maintain a balance of tension and relaxation. So you don't want the movement to feel too challenging, but you don't want to also be too relaxed when you're moving. It's really about finding that sweet spot in the center so that you're just helping your body feel refreshed throughout the day. And then lastly, you want to stay connected to bodily sensations as you move. This is where mindfulness comes in. Really helping or paying attention to how your body is feeling as you're moving through each exercise and really staying present with that feeling. Not necessarily judging it or editing it in any kind of way, just feeling it. So it's really important when it comes to moving. And then the last thing I want to just quickly share in terms of what you can do to quickly make an impact on how you're feeling to get you out of that distressed state is mindfulness. So growing evidence indicates that mindfulness practice induces both state and trait changes. That means it temporarily changes the condition of the brain and the corresponding pattern of activity or connectivity. That's our state change. But it also positively alters personality traits following longer periods of practice. So when I talk to folks about mindfulness, many have misconceptions about what it is, thinking that they have to completely clear their minds. In fact, I actually thought this when I first started practicing mindfulness as well, but that's completely untrue. Mindfulness is about paying attention to the present moment without judging, analyzing, or editing your thoughts or experiences. Dr. Mishi Jha, a psychology professor at the University of Miami and a researcher who studies attention, working memory, and mindfulness, compares this shift of focus to shining a flashlight on the present moment, or shining a flashlight onto what you're wanting to focus on. So when it comes to movement, for example, we're shining that flashlight onto the bodily sensations that are coming up, but we're not trying to change it, as an example, right? So mindfulness can include breathing methods like what I introduced to you earlier, guided imagery, and also mindful movement, to name a few. But you can also use mindfulness moment to moment. For example, let's say you have a deadline coming up and you're feeling a lot of stress. There are really 3 options you can choose between related to this feeling of stress. Firstly, you can ruminate on it, which a lot of folks do, including myself from time to time. Second, you can feel it. And then lastly, you can watch what you are feeling. It's almost like you're sitting up in the box seat, looking down on a sporting event. You're not trying to change what's happening. You're just watching it and paying attention to it without judgment. And this awareness helps you to let go of rumination, allowing you to be present, aware of the stress that's there, but knowing that you are not the stress. Does that make sense? So when it comes to mindfulness, it actually plays a huge role in our work performance as well, or at least it can. Studies reveal that there are positive correlations between development of trait mindfulness. So again, that's the exercise of, or the way that mindfulness can impact our personality traits over time. And then positive work-related constructs such as job satisfaction, improved work performance and effort, interpersonal relations that can actually help us get along with our colleagues better. It can decrease burnout and perceived job stress. And then it can also decrease emotional exhaustion. All things that really sound like they can be really helpful to event planners. So let's do a little bit of practice. And firstly, what we're going to do is we're going to get into some movement. I'm going to stop sharing. I'm going to have to move my desk up. Just give me a moment here. The first thing that I'd like you to do is you're going to bring your feet underneath your hips, your toes are going to face forward, hips are facing forward, chest is facing forward, shoulders are relaxed, back and down as we mentioned previously, chest is up, but rib cage pulled down. We don't want to flare the ribs open when I say bring up your chest, right? From here, you just want to bring your little relaxation in your cheeks. Sometimes it can help to massage it a little bit if you're feeling like your jaw is tight. Okay. And then we're going to bring your palms facing forward, and you're going to just close off your eyes for just a moment. And before we start moving, I want you to just start to take inventory of how your body is feeling today. You can do this by scanning up through your body. Maybe you just do little check-ins for each muscle group. Whatever feels better for you. And again, just as I mentioned previously, we're not trying to make changes here. You're just noticing or observing how you're feeling right now. So, and we can slowly open up back up our eyes. Beautiful. So the first thing that I'd like us to do today is we're going to do a little bit of movement for the lower back. A lot of folks end up with lower back pain when they're feeling stressed because you're trying to meet deadlines or you're sitting for long periods of time, your thoracic spine can get very rigid. So what I'd like you to do first is we're going to do a little bit of rotation. So we're just going to rotate from the left to the right, like this. And you're going to allow your trailing foot to pivot as you rotate. Your arms are nice and relaxed, almost like a rag doll. Your hips are really leading this movement. And you can either keep your eyes forward, fixed on a point on the wall, or you can allow your gaze to follow the rotation as well. You don't struggle so much with balance. Good. Now coming back to center, we're going to start by bringing your chin down towards your chest. And then you're going to drop your chest a little bit, almost like you're rounding your back, trying to create a hunchback. And then we're going to forward fold just a little bit more without going all the way down and touch your chest. And then we're going to go in the opposite direction. Lower back is going to come straight. Shoulders are going to come back and down, chest is up, and then head's going to come back up to neutral. Staying connected to the bodily sensations. So again, don't move into pain as we go. We're gonna do that 2 more times. Chin down to chest, rolling down shoulders, releasing down towards the floor, not all the way down in your hands, brush your knees. And then coming back in the reverse order, lower back straightens, chest is up, shoulders back, chin is level. One more time, chin to chest, dropping once, and again, and then rolling back up. Now we're gonna do a little bit of like a circle with our upper body. Again, arms are nice and relaxed, or you can cross your arms across your shoulders if it feels better for you. Either option is gonna be great here. We're just gonna lean over to one side. You're gonna let that head drop. Your arms are nice and relaxed here. From here, you're gonna circle around towards the center. And then you're gonna come up towards the other side, stacking your shoulders once more, and then standing, almost like you're zipping up a zipper on your jacket. Good, once more over to that side, going over to the side, rolling forward, coming up through the other side, and nice and tall one last time, over to the side, rolling forward, up to the other side, and nice and tall. Now we're gonna reverse side. We're gonna go over to the side, make sure that neck is relaxed, and you roll forward, coming up through the other side, and then nice and tall, 2 more times, coming over, rolling to the center, coming up to the other side, nice and tall, last time, folding over, rolling forward, coming up to the other side, and nice and tall. Okay. Wonderful. Next, what I'd like you to do is you're gonna bring your arms out in front of you just like this. Like this, we're not squeezing here, nice and relaxed. And you're gonna pretend like somebody wants to punch you in the chest and you're gonna deflect it. You're gonna sink that chest back ever so slightly. And then, like Superman trying to rip his shirt open, you're gonna pop that chest up and forward. Sink it back, and back. Do that 2 more times, rolling back, and back up, last time, coming back, and then coming back. Good. From here, we're gonna circle our arms up overhead. And we're just gonna bring it down like a cactus. And you're gonna squeeze those muscles in your back, creating nice space in through the front side of your neck. And we're gonna bring it back once more, bring it down, and relax. Perfect. Now what I'd like you to do is you're gonna bring your arms out into a letter T. Palms are gonna start with facing up. From here, you're gonna bend your wrists so both hands, the fingers are pointing downward. And you're pushing through the heel of your palm towards the walls around you. Fingers are straight, nice and relaxed. This might be a little intense. If it is, you can make it a little bit less, you can create a little less of a bend, it's up to you. Shoulders are down, okay? You may feel a big stretch along the back side of your arm here, along your wrist and your forearm. Yeah, great. And from here, we're just gonna bring your right ear to right shoulder, coming up to the center, left ear to left shoulder. Maintaining that bend in the wrist. I'm gonna go side to side, just like that. One last time, both sides. Good. And relax, shake it out. Good, next I'm gonna have you bring your fingertips and you're gonna go underneath your collarbone over to one side. We're only just doing one side here. You're gonna press your fingertips down onto your skin. You're gonna slightly pull it downward. And I'm on my right side now, so I'm gonna tilt my head backward. And then while keeping my chin up, I'm gonna bring my left ear towards my left shoulder. Should feel a big stretch along the front side of that side of your neck. And here we're gonna open and close your mouth. Good, now we're gonna come back to center, and we're gonna go over to the other side. Pulling that skin downward, tilting your head back, and then over to the opposite side. Pause for just a moment here. Open and close your mouth. This is really great to do when you've woken up if you are a side sleeper like I am. Create a little bit more space in the front side of the neck. Good, lastly, we're gonna take your fingers and you're gonna interlace them behind your back. If this is not accessible for you, you can take one hand and you can grasp the opposite wrist. Whatever feels better for you is just fine. And you're going to pull the wrists over, or the fists over to one side of your back. I'm on my right side. So since I'm on my right side here, I'm going to bring my right ear towards my right shoulder, creating a big stretch on the left side of the neck. And here I'm going to shake my head yes. Shake it yes. Again, not moving into pain. Just noticing the bodily sensations, not editing. Good. Come back to center. Going over to the other side now. I'm on my left side, so I'm going to tilt my head over to the right, or over to the left, excuse me. And I'm going to shake my head yes. Relax and come back to center. We're just going to take a moment here to pause once more, see how your body's feeling. And then what I'd like you to do is take your hands and you're just going to pretend like you're brushing your skin off. Like there's something on your arms, on your shoulders, on your chest, on your belly, on your hips, on your glutes, on your quads, on your hamstrings, and roll back up. Take a moment once more, pause. Good. Now we're going to come back down into a seat. So those are all really simple exercises you can do at any time throughout the day. So if there's one that feels especially helpful for you or supportive, I would recommend that you kind of take notes on what that was right now so that you can do it on your own or go back and watch the videos on your own. Very simple movements. Usually they leave me feeling really good. I hope they make you feel good as well. So now we're going to do a little bit of a breathing exercise and a mindfulness practice. So we're going to begin in a comfortable seat. Feet are going to be flat on the floor. You're going to bring your hands to your thighs, sitting nice and tall. Ease them through the shoulders. Ease them through the jaw and the face. We're going to begin by taking a deep breath in through your nose, filling your lungs completely. You're going to hold at the top. And you're going to sigh it out. And again, breathing in through the nose. And sigh it out. Last one, breathing in through the nose. And as you exhale, gently closing off your eyes. Now we're going to practice our 4, 7, 8 breaths. Breathing in through the nose. We're going to inhale for a count of 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold at the top for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And exhale for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Again for 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And exhale for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. One last time, in for 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And out for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now with eyes closed, allow your breath to shift back to its natural rhythm. Watching your breath as you inhale and exhale for just a moment. You can fully arise in your body, recognizing and releasing any discomfort, allowing your thoughts to exist just as they are, without grasping or editing them. And begin turning your attention towards your hands and your fingertips. Perhaps you feel a warm buzzing sensation as your hands press softly against your thighs. Now take a moment here to give yourself permission to feel good, to be relaxed and cared for in this moment. You have nowhere to go, no one else to see. You can be still and know that you are safely held. You can completely stop. With eyes closed, begin by feeling into any parts of your body that are touching the ground. Notice the connection between your body and the earth. Allow your body to rest further down towards the earth. Equally, feel into a sensation, either real or imagined, of the earth rising up to meet you, meeting your relaxing downward energy with a supportive lift. Bring your attention now to your toes, not necessarily seeking any sensation, but a simple awareness or witnessing of your toes. Notice the connection between your toes and the earth, both left and right side. You may feel something right now or nothing at all. Just stay with the awareness of your toes. Now shift your awareness to your feet. Left and right foot, the inner arches, the tops and bottoms. Awareness of your ankles and your heels. Notice the shins now and the calves, the knees, and the back of the knees. Inviting all sensation in or none with equality. And treating all that arises equally and spaciously. Open to whatever arises, just noticing. Now, take a moment to extend gratitude to this lower section of your body for supporting you, and for establishing your foundation. Now bring your awareness to your upper legs. Notice the thighs and the hamstrings, front and back side of the upper leg. Notice the hips, exploring sensation of the pelvis, the glutes, the front, back, and sides, all corners of your hips. Draw awareness up to the belly. And without adjustment, be aware of the belly moving with the breath, the rise and the fall. Aware of the low back, aware of your internal organs, whether or not this awareness is real or imagined. And then notice the chest. Can you feel your own heart beating? This is your life force singing to you, not only to the front of the chest, but the back as well. Take a moment here to express gratitude to the depth of your body, to the systems within you for keeping you alive, for keeping you safe, for keeping you nourished. From the chest, be aware of the shoulders. Ease in through the shoulders as you explore right and left, front and back. In this horizontal plane, we connect with each other. Bring awareness to this space, real or imagined, which connects you to other beings. Imagine the width of your shoulders expanding to lovingly touch or embrace theirs. Take a moment here to feel gratitude for everything in this plane, from the space between your shoulders to all other living beings. And bring awareness to the length of your neck, softness in the face as you explore up to your crown. In this vertical plane, we hold our dignity, our sense of self-worth and confidence, and our connection to the earth, the heavens, and the stars. Take a moment here to reflect on the gratitude you hold for who you are, for the gifts you share with others, for the ways you show up for yourself and for others. Now, bringing your attention back to your breath. Begin watching your breath as you inhale and exhale, counting each breath as you go. Inhale for 1, exhale for 2, and so forth until you reach 10, and then start over again. And for 1, exhaling for 2, inhaling for 3, exhaling for 4, and so on. When you reach 10, start over once more. Beginning back at 1. If your mind wanders during this time, that's okay. Again, we're not trying to clear the mind. If something comes into your space, just notice it, and then bring your attention back to your breath. Counting 1, exhaling 2. Now you can release all focus on the breath and let your mind do whatever it wants for just a moment without focus. Perhaps it wants to think or feel things, and that's okay. Again, not reacting or editing, just watching. Bring your body, now bring your awareness back to your body touching the chair on the floor. Your hands on your thighs and your feet on the ground. Invite the sounds, the smells, and the temperature of the room you are in into your awareness. Perhaps you can hear the birds chirping outside, or you can smell remnants of your morning coffee or tea. And now, in your own time, when you're ready, you can slowly blink open your eyes. Spending a moment here to take inventory of how you are feeling now that your practice is complete. And thank you all for sharing your practice with me today. I will open it now for any questions that anybody has. Maybe everyone's still feeling the feels.
I think so. I don't think I felt this relaxed at work ever before. Thank you so much, Tiffany.
You're welcome. So for everyone who wants to do something like this on your own, it's really simple. You can either come back and watch this video again, or you can simply do a body scan like we did. Or maybe you close your eyes off and you just watch your breath and count it the way that we did. Perhaps you do that 4, 7, 8 breaths. Really, any of these are really applicable to what you do on a daily basis. They're very simple.
Tiffany, by chance, do you have a list of these exercises? Somebody's wondering in the chat.
I don't, but I can certainly put something together for you all and send it to Sam so he can make sure you have it.
Yeah, we'd love to have that.
Happy to do it.
Any other questions or thoughts for Tiffany?
Really quickly before we go, I'm going to share screen once more. I do want to tell you all about a program that I coordinate that I think would be helpful for some of you. It's called Get Up Tritons. Get Up Tritons is a video subscription program where we send out videos twice daily at 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. that share exercises. They're very short, like 1 or 2 minutes long. Things that you can do in your office space to help you feel good throughout the day, kind of like what I taught you earlier. And then we also have an option for a 12 p.m. Catch Your Breath series where we're sending out videos that are focused on mindfulness, on breath work, on resilience. So it's a little bit of an educational piece. So I would encourage you to consider subscribing to that, and you can do that at the link that I have there below my information. And of course, if anybody has any questions or that you think of after we all log off, feel free to reach out to me. My email is there, tcadell, my maiden name, at ucsd.edu.
And I'll be sure to include that link in our follow-up email with the recording so everyone can sign up for those resources as well from UC San Diego Recreation. Well, I want to thank you everybody for logging on today. It is a good group, and I can tell that we all really benefited a lot from the exercises and the activities that Tiffany led us through. I'm just going to leave everybody with just a note to keep an eye out on our CSU-UPN listserv and on our social media platforms for additional details about our conference that's happening in July this year at the Cal State Fullerton campus. I would love to see maybe Tiffany join us then and lead us through another one of these activities. I think probably midday or at the end of day one, just to kind of put everybody in the right space to take the most out of that that event. We'll go ahead and leave the Zoom open for a little bit longer in case anybody wants to drop a question in the chat for Tiffany. But I want to thank everybody for logging on again, and hopefully you'll take these activities with you to help you cope with stress and keep you sharp to do the great work that you do for the university.